Hello everybody and welcome to What's the Quack? Or should I say, what's the quack everybody? Oh, you better not fucking laugh or I swear to God that was a horrible joke. I'm your host, Ducky, and in today's episode, I'm kind of sleepy and vexed as a person because my day's just been a weird fucking day so far. It was one of them days. You know what happened to me last night? I was playing a game last night called Trackmania that I've kind of got a little bit hooked into lately. And I ended up staying up until silly o'clock in the morning, which is an actual time, silly o'clock, trying to beat a lap time. I was trying to get a gold medal on a particular track. It was like a track of the day, and I just couldn't fucking do it for the life of me. I was just on that one track alone, I must have spent about 2.5 hours on it. It was ridiculous, and I still didn't do it. The only reason I stopped is because the missus came into me, and she's like, "You're still up?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing up?" And she's like, "It's 6 in the morning. I'm getting up to do my morning workout before I go to work." I was like, oh shit, I had to go to bed at like fucking 6 in the morning. It didn't end there. That was just me starting off on the wrong foot because I was woke up a few hours later, but the doorbell, which is not a rare occurrence, I tend to sleep past midday sometimes, and the doorbell usually signifies a delivery man of some description that I have to race down because delivery men have no patience. I swear to God, they ring a doorbell and count backwards from 3 before they fuck off. So I have to be like lightning fast. So when the doorbell goes, I front flip out of my bed and just land in my pants and race towards the door. It was one occasion I went down and I actually got a package off your man just in time as he was fucking walking away. Closed the door, walked back in, and I realised I put my pants on completely backwards. I was standing there with an arse pocket in front of him. But anyway, I raced down the stairs and I was halfway down the stairs and then the missus answered the door. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And basically she started showing symptoms of COVID, so she's just going to self-isolate until she can get a PCR test and stuff. But so I couldn't get back to sleep after that. That fucked that. But then I was just like, you know what? Since I'm kind of taking January off YouTube, taking it handy, I'm going to still make podcasts. So I was like, I'll record a podcast today. That's fairly low effort, handy little thing to be doing, so I'll do that. Sat down, and within the space of 20 minutes of me trying to record it, phone rang 5 times from my brother and my sister and other people, just silly queries. My sister wanted me to transfer her money so she wouldn't have to go to the bank and lodge it herself and just give me the cash back later. You know, one of these pure too fucking lazy to go to the bank herself. And then my brother rang me because he was in the middle of a fucking shop and he wanted to buy a tablet and did no research about him whatsoever. And because I worked in a fucking electronic shop for years, he thought I'd know about the latest ones, despite the fact that I've not been working on one for about 2 years now at this stage. Oh, just constant interruptions. But I'm finally going. We're finally going now. We're recording now, so we'll get the ball rolling. We'll kick things off. January 4th, I don't normally mention the dates in these because I don't want to date them. You should be able to listen to them, whatever. But it's January 4th of 2022. New year. I hope you all had a good New Year's. I hope you all had a good Christmas because I think I missed you there as well. I hope it went well as I do every year. I hope none of your relatives died because that's just like a Christmas thing, isn't it? It only happens really at Christmas where your relatives die, or at least it just kind of makes it feel like that bit worse. But it's like they hold out till Christmas. I'd probably do the same, to be honest. If I was on my last legs, I'm just like, I know, I'll fucking hold out to Christmas just so everybody's that extra bit fucking miserable, you know? Because you want people to be really fucking sad when you're dead. Like, so I hope none of your family members have died, and I hope if they have died, I hope it's one of them you didn't particularly like. Oh God, I'm cruel. But what else have I gotten up to in the meantime? I've the missus with her symptoms. We were out the other night. We went out for dinner for New Year's. Had a nice Thai or thigh. No, thigh wouldn't make sense. Nice Thai food. Alsates and whatnot, and a lovely meal. And while we're having the meal, a friend of hers texted saying she was in a local pub there and it was very quiet. Did we want to come for a drink? Now they had COVID and all that, and so they were clear and they had their vaccines and stuff, and the pub was relatively empty according to them, so we wandered on down and stayed there for a few hours, and pub closed at 8 o'clock for some reason, because apparently COVID it's a bit of a night owl. It wakes up about 8 p.m. and just goes buck wild. It's more contagious after 8 p.m. apparently. At least that's what they led you to believe. If anything, they're just forcing people to drink earlier in the fucking day. What was I saying? Yeah, so I went in there and the pub was relatively quiet and stuff like that, but we got up the next morning and Mrs. had a bit of a sore throat, and then yesterday then, or was it the day before, whatever it was, it's just, the sore throat's gotten worse, so she's just playing it safe now, isolating. I don't leave the house anyway, so I'm safe enough. I don't, fuck people. I hate people with their fucking questions and shit. One thing I noticed though from that night, one thing I hate more than people, and well, I will say small talk, but it's the new small talk. Everyone is talking about fucking COVID. Everyone. And I know I'm doing it now as well by talking about it. I get that. I understand the irony in this now. But when I was in the pub the other night, And we're just chatting shit with people and all that. It was like every second conversation COVID was brought back up. And I'm just like, lads, it's my first time in a pub since COVID hit. Very first time. I haven't been in a pub in years. Like the first time I'm in a pub since COVID hit. Can we please not talk about it for 5 fucking minutes? Just let me enjoy this illusion of fucking normalcy that I have right now. Don't fucking drown. So it's getting hard, it's getting hit. Oh, we're all fucking dying, we're all dropping. Oh, I wonder what way it's going to go. Just give me 5 fucking minutes to enjoy me pint and not talk about COVID. Talk about movies. Fucking talk about TV shows. I'll take the weather. Give me the weather. Talk about the weather. Just stop fucking talking about COVID. And there's a new fucking strain going around. Fluvid, Covlu, I don't know. A mixture between the cold and flu apparently is popping up in India. It's getting worse. It's gone Super Saiyan 3 now, is it? I don't know. I can't keep tabs. I read a meme the other day. It was quite funny. It was like how COVID is like Call of Duty, where they release a new one every year and it gets progressively worse. But speaking of movies, actually, I've seen Spider-Man. For those of you who listened to my last podcast, I was talking to my mate Dara, the Magic Skeptic, about Spider-Man. He had seen it and I hadn't, and I have seen it in the meantime, and I can confirm it is fucking fantastic. And as much as I do love the Raimi films, I'm going to eat my own words, because I know on that podcast I doubted the man. I'll eat my own words and say, yeah, it is easily the best Spider-Man trilogy that there is. And I'll go a step further and I'd say the new Spider-Man is better than the previous 2 Tom Holland Spider-Mans as well, which is saying a lot, because I quite like Michael Keaton in the first one. Second one, I'm a big fan of Jake Gyllenhaal, but it didn't have as much of that kind of fucking grippiness, I suppose would be the word, as the first. But yeah, the third one is strong, really strong. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, so don't worry. But the third one is, I thoroughly enjoyed it from start to finish. It's actually, no, start was a bit slow. First 10 minutes of the movie are a bit slow. I wasn't fond of that. After a while, I was kind of like, come on, just hurry on to fuck, like, you know. But no, thoroughly enjoyed it. Another movie I've seen recently, Matrix Resurrections. I know I'm talking about movies, just don't like me. I like movies. I'm sure a lot of you like movies too. But I've seen Matrix Resurrections, and that movie was absolute shite. I'm sorry now. It was so shite. It's really fucking bad. At least in my opinion, for somebody who's enjoyed the Matrix movies in the past. And I enjoy all 3 of them together. I know a lot of people are a bit more harsh on the second and the third one, and I know they're not as good, but I still enjoy them. I can sit there because like a bad Matrix film, and at least before this one, a bad Matrix film was still better than a good normal film. But yeah, no, after seeing this, I thought it was a bit shite. It had a lot of like meta references in it, like, you know, if Matrix was Deadpool kind of thing, like, you know, winking at the camera, that kind of fucking stuff. And I heard of a theory online, and it's basically saying that the Wachowski siblings, whatever they're identified now as, but the Wachowski sibling that directed this one, apparently the theory goes is that Warner Brothers was kind of forcing them to make this, so they purposely made it bad as a kind of fuck you to Warner Brothers. And they do, there's a scene in the movie that pretty much spells that out. And it's kind of like, it's one of them things that if that theory is actually true, and it is a giant middle finger to Warner Brothers from the Wachowskis, I would say, fair play to you lads, well done ye. But why do you have to waste my fucking time and money? Can you not just fucking do that off your own backs? This is what I mean. Even if that's the prevailing theory, it's still unforgivable, because they're still wasting people's time and money by purposely making a bad fucking film that we all have to sit there and watch and kind of go, you didn't try. Why should we be giving you money for this shit? It's just not on. What else have I watched? I tried watching a couple of episodes of that What If, you know, the Disney Plus show, the Marvel What If, because I've seen a few videos pop up around YouTube, different episodes and stuff like that, and I watched 3 episodes of it, and I thought it was a bit shit. I don't know, the animation is very stiff, the mouth movements don't line up, the story's a bit kind of you know, there's very little payoff in any of the episodes. I didn't really take to it at all. I'm sure other people enjoy it, by all means, power to you, but I didn't get a kick out of it at all. I also see WandaVision, actually. I watched that for the first time the other day, I just binged it, and that was quite good. I'm sorry I left that so long to watch. Ending of it was a bit fucking Marvel, and by that I mean it's just a big fucking fight as usual. Laser fight! That's all fucking Marvel films boil down to at the end of a big fucking fight. But outside of that, it was a great show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, a bit slow at the beginning, but if you kind of stick with it, it's good. I've just been taking it easy lately. See, I decided to take January off, as most YouTubers do. I'm sure you'll have a few creators about the place taking January off. And I'm doing the same. But that's just what I'm telling people who ask me. I'm actually still working away behind the scenes, but I just want to create a bit of a backlog. I want 1 or 2 fucking videos in the barrel ready to fire into your face. 1 or 2 videos loaded into my gun of entertainment that I can fire into your face come February. So I'm not starting the year in the back foot, you know. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been tipping away on a couple of videos in the background. So my next one's going to be about COVID again. I'm eating my own words here. I was giving people shit about talking about it, but no, my next video is about getting vaccinated and stuff like that. A nice funny video for you lot. And the follow-up one is about cars. I can't believe I've never done a video about cars. It popped into my head the other day when I was doing a bit of writing and I was kind of like spitballing for ideas. I was like, how have I never spoken about cars? I have loads of car stories. I'm going to kick things off with the origin of my interest in cars, which is an interesting tale in and of itself. But about my first car, the fanny wagon, the Micra. I have a few decent stories now to go with that. So that'll be something for you to all look forward to. Tell you one thing I don't have to look forward to. Losing weight. Oh man, I made a fat bastard of myself over Christmas. I wouldn't mind. I was doing quite well in my diet for like 3 weeks, a month maybe. I had lost the equivalent of about 12 pounds. I was going strong, like, you know. Then Christmas kind of hit and I just gave myself the excuse that, well, fuck it, it's Christmas, eh? What do you want? And I just put all the 12 pounds back on and then some. So fucking bad. I was a gluttonous bastard. Just did not hold back in the slightest. But in a sense, it's a bit of an advantage because now I don't feel like I've missed out. You know, I don't have the FOMO when I'm on a diet because I'm just like, no, I had my fun there over Christmas. There was nothing that I didn't eat that I didn't want to eat, you know, that kind of way. Yeah, back in that now. One thing you might notice as well, actually, if you're listening to this right now, is now that we're like, 10 odd minutes in. What do you think of my new microphone? Nice, lovely, bassy microphone. Yeah, Ducky's upgraded his equipment yet again. So now we got the radio voice, Ducky. Yeah, it gets real boomy when you get up on top of it. Yeah, no, we're me and the missus together so long now that it gets to the point where we're just like, can you just tell me what you want for Christmas? Because I don't want to guess and get it wrong because that's really disappointing. Is there anything you need that we can just pretend like you didn't tell me and I get you that? So we're like that. So I got her like a voucher for getting her hair done. And she asked me, what do you want? She says, what do you get the man that gets himself everything? Because I don't hold, when I'm spending on myself, I don't hold back. I can't take money to the fucking grave with me. So yeah, I'm not shy about spending money when I have it. The only thing that I was thinking of was a microphone. I was like, I've always wanted one of them Shure SM7B microphones, but they're like 400 quid. It's a big fucking, she's a bit Irish, like, you know, for a microphone that's been around since the fucking 70s. But I've always wanted one because I love the sound of me. It's nice and warm and it's got great isolation as well. So like, even though I'm sitting like in my usual office here now, you know, it's more enclosed. It sounds like I'm in a nice warmer environment, nice closed, sound deadened environment. So yeah, so basically I just asked her to get me a voucher. So she got me a voucher for Amazon there, and then I just went and bought that then. So it was ideal. I will say I didn't ask her for the whole voucher because nobody's asking somebody to spend 400 fucking quid in them for Christmas. Are you out of your mind? No, we set a limit. We set a limit every year, which I think couples and just people in general should do. We do a limit of €100 because we think that's enough for a decent present, but not so much where you're going to leave yourself fucking broke, you know, that kind of way. Or leave each other broke. And then, you know, we always go over, but we kind of expect it. So we'll get the one big one and then a couple of small presents. But I think that's what you should do, because I've known some couples in the past to be getting each other fucking like new phones for Christmas. 6, 7, 8, €900 fucking phones for Christmas. You're already buying for fucking nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters and then fucking parents and children and everything else. Do you really want to be putting the pressure of that on you? You need a limit. Know your limits, be it in life, the bedroom, your car, on the road. I don't know where I was going with that, but no, it's nice to have a limit set, because then you're just not stressing about how much money you're spending, and is that other person spending more than me? If I don't spend enough and they spend more, am I going to look bad? You know, this kind of shit. So yeah, it's great to have a limit. I recommend it for anybody in any relationship. I always set a limit, because then I think it makes you better at picking out presents as well when you're operating within a limit. It gives you boundaries. You can see the edges, so you're like, okay, this is what I have to work with. You know, it's a bit easier to kind of narrow shit down. But with this new microphone, obviously, I hope it comes across that it sounds better. You know, with my last microphone, it was 100 quid. It was Audio Technica AT 2020. It was about 120 quid mic, something like that. It sounded really nice when you applied effects to it. So like you had to, with the Audio Technica one, I found that I had to add a lot of bass to it. It was a very bass naked mic, because I suppose it would be, it's got very shit low end. So I added that in post, or now that I have a mixer, I can actually add it during, but I never quite got there, and it always took a bit of finagling after the fact. This one, I was doing some tests with it, and it sounds good without me applying anything to it. And I'm with my mixer I have here, I can make it sound even better. So I don't have to actually apply any effects to my my podcasts now, or hopefully my live streams and stuff when I get back to that. It'll all sound fantastic. So yeah, it just makes my life that little bit easier. Speaking of live streams, actually, as well, I didn't get to talk about this in my last podcast because I was on with Dara there, so it didn't really come up. But yeah, I recently did a live stream there just before Christmas. I did Thankmas, the 2021 Thankmas, which is a live stream for a charity, and this particular charity builds homes for homeless people and stuff like that. But decided to do it last minute because I don't know whether or not I'm going to be still living in this house or not, week on week, because we're still looking for a new house to move out. We're kind of in the period of changing houses, so I didn't know if I was actually going to have a house with internet and all that to do it. But I was still here, so I said fuck it last minute, signed up, and I did. But we managed to raise 1,600 fucking quid, 1,600 euro, whatever that is in dollars, and it's probably about 1,800 to $2,000, something like that in dollars, but which is fucking amazing. I want to thank everybody for joining in, and those who donated and those who shared the video and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. It certainly went down a hell of a lot better than I thought it would. Like, I genuinely went in that and I said, look, if we make 500 quid, that'd be golden. I'd be delighted with that. And we made 3 times that amount, which is fucking unbelievable. And during that live stream, we were playing a Euro Truck Simulator. We drove from Istanbul in Turkey to Galway in Ireland, and there was plenty of crashes along the way. I think the vast majority of the stream was just crashes, just fucking non-stop crashes. We took a couple of detours because we had a couple of Polish and Romanian friends in the chat there, so we just said we'll detour through there, kind of visit. But I'm hoping to do another stream possibly this month, but I know at the start of this year somewhere, another charity stream. But I want to do one for an animal charity. I've always wanted to do a proper animal charity one. As much as I like people and building houses for people, I'd much prefer to do a charity for dogs, because that's what I'm passionate about. Animals, that's what I love. So I just need to think of a good idea for a nice, reasonably long charity stream. I'm thinking 3 to 6 hours kind of long charity stream, something fun, engaging, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm going to be sitting on in my mind now lately. If you have any recommendations, by all means, pop them in the old comments here on YouTube if you're listening to this on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, I don't know, just shoot me a message on Twitter or something, whichever. I'll take a look. We'll see if we can unearth some sort of good idea that'll be enjoyable to watch. Yeah. But anyway, with my nattering over, I think we're going to turn it over to What's Your Problem, which is a segment that I'm trying to do in every episode of the podcast, where you guys write in, tell me a particular problem you have, and I'm just going to share my 2 cents, give my 2 cents on it, and hopefully that will help you out some bit. So we're going to switch over to that. I don't have a jingle for it yet. I keep meaning to get a jingle, but I don't want to do Barbershop Quartet again, because I have that for Quack Me Up Corner. So it's something different, something ridiculous, maybe a choir. But we'll see. We'll put a pin in that and we'll come back to it. So yeah, I've got one here, and it is from Vex Goldheart on Twitter, who says, "Hey Ducky, I'm a 23-year-old female and I'm having a really hard time finding a relationship and just making friends. I thought it would be easy to make friends, as you maybe be able to tell I'm a furry." And she says in brackets, "Yet I hate the community a lot of the time. Everyone says it's easy to make friends in the community. This was before I made myself known in it. I try to talk to people and get to know them more, but they have little to no interest in doing the same with me. When I try and meet up with them, they just say that they're busy or working, which is understandable, until I find out they've met up with other friends of theirs. I never had friends or a relationship growing up, so I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong. In all honesty, this is starting to make me feel more lonely and depressed. For your information, I have depreciation. Depreciation. I know what you mean, girl. I'm 32. I'm starting to feel myself depreciate as well. My knees are clicking. I got phantom pains. I got dusty ejaculations. I'll be worth the price of a glass of tap water come the 2030s. Sorry, I know you meant depression. I'll read again. FYI, I have depression. I found that out 6 years ago. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to read this. If you can, it feels good just to let it out. No problem. I will say, first of all, because you said it in your question there, you put it in the brackets, you said, "Yet I hate the community a lot of the time." I feel like that's like, it's like a qualifier you're putting in there, just a little kind of like, I know what people's opinions are of the community and they're mostly right for a lot of the time. And she's like, kind of eye rolling. Was this the thing? Because when you think about furries, there's furries in particular, because you yourself say you're furries, and I know a lot of people have opinions on furries and stuff like that. I have a theory, I have a hot take, and my theory is furries are disliked not because of what they do that seems odd or strange to the broader population of the world. Well, I'm sure that's a factor, but weird hobbies and interests are in themselves not necessarily weird. We enjoy a lot of strange things in life. You got rail fans, or people who love trains. You got LARPing, or is that Larkin? I'm not sure. Who are people who are dressed up in medieval clothes and they adventure around with their mates and stuff. And you got internet ducks who like to have exotic Asian women blow cigar smoke up their arse with a straw. But what I think is giving furries a bad rap the most is that most, not all, But most furries treat this interest as if that is their entire personality. It's in their profile picture, it's in their bios, it's in every photo they post, it's in every picture they draw. It's inserted everywhere in a conversation they have with somebody with nothing else to break it up. And you gotta ask yourself, if you've ever had a friend or know somebody who's never stopped talking about one thing they're doing, like you'll entertain them for a bit, but willpower is finite and diminishing returns will eventually have you ignore them after a while, you know? I feel like that's why so many people give an eye roll when you tell them you're a furry. Because most furries are extreme levels of fanatic. And they often tend to lack the social skills to be able to read people's lack of interest. You know, they can't seem to pick up on that. And I think the kind of broader population sees that more often than they don't. You know, when they're interacting with furries, they tend to get a lot more of the fanatics. So it's very easy to kind of paint a public image of that one thing, you know, and, you know, tear it all with the one brush, so to speak. I don't think it's necessarily the weird thing. It's not because you dress up in a weird outfit and stuff like that. I think people take a dislike to furries because they're just like people who do a weird thing and then won't shut the fuck up about it. I think that's most of the negative public perception. Now, furries aren't the only fan club out there. They get shit talked by the general public. But I think they get it worse because it's a fairly recent pastime and they haven't quite yet figured out that they have to tone down the weird a little bit around normal people. And I've been Ducky. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. No, that's just my opinion on furries. Somebody asked me on a video the other day, was I a furry? I'm just like, why does anybody who has an anthropomorphic character or just an animal character in general now be entitled as furry? People with the, you know, avatars of animals and stuff like that predate furries and all that kind of thing by years. Do you think like the voice actor for Goofy just gets called a furry daily? You think the person who does the voice for Scooby-Doo has always been accused of being a furry? Oh, it's like people just animal associate media idiots. Children, sorry. I'll move on, Vex. But I had to go on that tangent about furries. You might take something from that. Again, you kind of put a bit of a qualifier in there. Mention, oh yeah, I know how bad the community is. I think you might understand a little bit of that yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, I know a few furries and they're perfectly fine, but you know, I know a few other furries and they're a bit obsessed, you know, and they're not self-aware about how weird of an interest it is. Like, I don't mind if you're into being a furry or whatever else you're into, just at least be aware that it's not common and it's kind of strange as an outsider looking in to get their head around it and stuff like that. You know, if you don't have that level of awareness, you're a bit insufferable to talk to. But sorry, Vex, I'll crack on with your question. Your question was about making friends and relationships and stuff like that. Making friends, see, this is not something I've ever truly struggled with because I've had a core group of friends that have took many, many years to accumulate, and, you know, I've gotten rid of many of them over the years as well. What would be the best advice I could give? I would say, look at yourself critically. That'd be the first place to start. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror. Look and think about yourself, your own traits. What are some of your bad traits or things that you don't like about yourself? Is there something about your personality that you don't like? Is there something about your appearance? You know, that kind of these kind of things. Because in a way, your personality is like a wrinkly shirt. Excuse me now when I get all philosophical, but your personality is like a wrinkly shirt. It still functions perfectly well as a shirt. But if you want people to be drawn to it, then you got to iron out some of those wrinkles. And I'm a big believer in improving yourself. Some of those wrinkles are more obvious to you than others. Maybe you're overweight, maybe you're self-conscious, maybe you're prone to depression or bad habits, or you're a bit rude or a terrible listener, stuff like these. If you address them, if you take things you don't like about yourself and work on those and address those and, you know, iron out the wrinkles, as I'm keeping this analogy going, that has a fantastic side effect to it. And what that side effect is it actually raises your confidence. And when you're really confident, it draws people in. You know, you don't have to go actively looking. If you just spend enough time around people, they kind of get drawn in. They kind of get infatuated with you a little bit like that. You know, they get drawn in by the radiation of confidence in a way. And fixing your bad traits will do that instinctively. Because some people are just like, you know, when they're talking about confidence and you see these motivational videos and they tell you, like, be confident, go out there and try to be confident. No, you don't try to be confident. Confidence is not something you can actively pursue. Confidence is a byproduct of liking who you are yourself. It's an end result. It's the cake, you know, and addressing the problems within yourself are all these ingredients. You can't just try to have a cake. You actually have to make a cake. And to make that cake, you need to, you know, get rid of your bad traits and work on them, make yourself a better person, make yourself more confident. I was like, this is something I struggled with for years when I was a teenager. I was self-conscious about my weight. I was self-conscious about how I looked, stuff like that. And as I got older, I addressed all these things. I started dieting and looking after myself, and I had bad traits where I felt like I was getting a bit rude or a bit cynical in life, and I've addressed them. You know, all these little things that you do, if you're working yourself constantly, really kind of builds up your confidence and that shows and projects, and people pick up on that, and you're much more pleasant to be around. And that's, step one of making friends. Be desirable as a friend, because one thing I've noticed as well, and maybe I experience this more than most, but sometimes every now and again I'll have a fan interaction, as you do, like where I'm talking to somebody in DMs or on Discord or whatever else like that, and I'd know them for 5, 10, 15 seconds maybe, and I ask them about themselves, ask them a question, stuff like that, and they immediately unload their fucking entire lifetime worth of baggage on me. Their father died and cancer and this, and all this horrible shit out of nowhere. And I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, lad, reel it back into fuck. Save that for a close friend. You don't just unload that in fucking strangers. Keep it light, please. At least you get to know me some bit. Christ almighty. Just unloading this dump truck of fucking emotional baggage on somebody out of the blue. It's crazy. And it's a byproduct of the internet nowadays, because more and more people kind of coming up younger than me, they didn't interact as much or they don't interact as much in person anymore. So they haven't got the social skills. It's all kind of anonymous through the internet. And you're not really responsible for what you say online. In the real world, you can get punched in the face and you can get ridiculed and you get properly embarrassed. Online, it's much lessened, so you don't focus too much on your social faux pas. But yeah, that's one thing. That's another thing. That don't never unload your fucking emotional baggage on somebody out the gate. That's a big fucking red flag for anybody, be it friends or otherwise. What else might help? We would say don't force a friendship, because like friendships, like relationships, people can subconsciously pick up on desperation. It's that kind of thing. Like I remember I was going through a dry patch, female dry patch for 6 months to a year. I don't know. I didn't put a number on. It felt like a fucking eternity anyway. But as time went on, I realized I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm never going to get a fucking ride again. I started getting more worried and anxious, and I was starting to show, because as time was going on, I was getting less and less successful with women. And it was just like, it was destroying my game. And it's just, I'm sure I was doing stuff that, people were subconsciously picking up on, that gave off the vibe of a bit of desperation or whatever else. And obviously after I started addressing problems in my own life, or why I was feeling anxious and stuff like that, everything else just fell into place after that. And I started getting the ride again. Well, hey, you know what I mean? But yeah, so don't try force a friendship. That's just something that kind of needs to occur naturally. We'll say something else then as well. You say your friend, you were trying to meet up with people and they were like, going off and hanging out with other friends and stuff like that. We'll say friendships are not like relationships. I think that's a wrong step on your part there, to be kind of butthurt that one friend was going off with somebody else that they liked. Friendships are easygoing, casual. People are allowed to talk with other friends. It's not cheating. These are just things. And, people hang out with different friends for different reasons. Everybody has this. It doesn't mean you're any less of a friend or any less of a good person to be around. I have friends that are they're a lot of fun to hang around. They're the conversation's very light. It's all very playful and bantery and stuff like that. And then I have friends that are very heavy, that I can have deep and meaningful conversations with. And, they're not mutually exclusive. If I feel like a light conversation, I'll go to one friend over the other. It doesn't mean one is less value than the other. It's just they bring different things to the table, different tools for different jobs, essentially. So yeah, don't be offended by that. That's just how people do. And it's coming from, I'm the flakiest fucking person you could know. It's times where people text me, my mates, my close mates for years, and I just wouldn't text them back for fucking weeks. I'm the worst. I'm so bad at chasing things up, and I don't hate my friends or anything like that. It's just sometimes I just kind of get too lost in my own life to kind of get back, or get too busy and stuff like that. Another thing, give people benefit of the doubt. They're never going to make every single plan that you try to make. They're every now and again they're going to flake out, and that's fine. Just be understandable, but don't try to expect more than you should from a friend. Again, it depends on your definition of friend, really. Because some people just think friends are like besties, and they sit on the couch and they hug and they paint each other nails and they just spend every waking moment around each other. That's not really how friends do. People who think like that are watching too many fucking movies. A friend, for me anyway, is like somebody I talk to more than I talk to the fucking postman. That's what a definition of a friend is, pretty much, to me. It could be somebody I talk to twice a year, barely interact with. I'd consider that a friend, That's just my definition, my loose definition of it. Different things for different people, but I think you might be expecting slightly too much from it. If you're talking to people online, you've already got friends. If you're talking to them frequently, if you're talking to them more than a couple of times a week, I'd class that as a friend. I'll also say that a friend doesn't actually repair anything in your life either. People have this crushing sense of loneliness and depression, as you say, they vex yourself. Having a friend is not necessarily going to fix that. It's just an extra person you can go to for advice and stuff, which might help slightly. But me and my friends, and I'm sure there's people listening to this now who have friend groups and all that, they're not immune to depression and loneliness and, all the bad emotions of the world. The friends can help. But a lot of the time, it's a very personal battle when you're dealing with like loneliness and depression and stuff like that. Friends are not going to fix that. If you're feeling like that, that could be something more that needs to be addressed personally, would be my opinion. Another bit of advice for making friends is not everyone's friend material. Some people are just straight up arseholes. Don't look for friendship everywhere you go. Don't be a friend slut, you know? Don't just befriend everybody you know. You're going to catch something. Oh, God. What kind of fucking tangent am I getting at all? But yeah, no, some people are arseholes. Don't befriend everyone. Find somebody you actually enjoy being around and they enjoy being around you. That's the only requirement for making friends. You just need to find somebody who both of you enjoy each other's company. That's pretty much it. Relationships I can't really help in because, you know, you're female. I don't know what it's like the other end of the fence looking for things. I always would have thought it's reasonably easy as a female to attract fellas. I thought it was just a default setting. Show a bit of skin, maybe an old flirty photo or something like that. Post that, you know, like the old mermaid on a rock. You know, you got to wave the sailors in there, girl, you know. But I wouldn't be able to give too much advice on that end. Because fellas are randy fuckers. All you need to show a bit of leg there and, you know, I'm sure you get a few gentleman callers. But I will say, don't lose hope. That's what the people who find that. And you're quite young. What you say? You're like 23, something like that. It's fucking, you're only an old baby. You've many, many friend and relationship making years ahead of you. Loneliness isn't inevitable. That's one train of thought a lot of people get stuck in their head. Loneliness is not inevitable. Life is long and fucking full of changes and pivots and everything. You in 2 or 3 years' time could be doing something completely fucking different to what you're doing now, and it could be a very different situation. You have a very different plate of problems on your hand. You could have too many fucking friends and you're like, Ducky, I can't keep up. There are too many friends. My phone won't shut the fuck up. They're walking in while I'm having a shit. They're talking to me through the keyhole. I drive my car the other day to start making a knocking noise. I opened the bonnet. One of my friends inside in the engine bay knocking on it there to have a conversation. So, stop. But I've no doubt before long, you'll have a friend who'll annoy the absolute shit out of you and somebody special to blow a load all over your furry boobies. So I hope all that helps. Right. Do you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for Quack Me Up Corner.
Quack, 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 quack me up. Quack, 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 quack me up. Get your ducks in order. It's time for Quack Me Up Corner.
Going to mix things up with this one for today. I'm going to pull some jokes off of Reddit. Yeah, I have a Reddit. Don't actually mind, somebody else runs it. It's like a Ducky fan page, but yeah, see, I don't know, go on Reddit, type in Sergeant Ducky. I'm sure it'll pop up. No need a link. But yeah, I posted on this a while back about if anybody had any jokes to share for Quack Me Up Corner, put them in the Reddit and I might use one or two. And then I forgot to do that more or less entirely. So what I thought I'd do for today's episode is we'd read a few. We'll go through the Reddit postings there and we'll see what people have what I posted. We got a couple of jokes from Quack Me Up Corner there. So we'll have a go through and we'll read it. If you want to add some jokes, I'm sure you'll find a thread on my Reddit there for maybe I'll pick at this the next time. So we got this one here from Soup0101. A priest buys a lawnmower at a garage sale, pulls the rope a few times and it doesn't work. He goes back to the garage sale to talk to the previous owner. The priest says, I can't get the lawnmower to start. You have to curse at it to get it to start, says the man. I'm a man of the oath, says the priest. I don't even remember how to curse. And the man says, just keep pulling the rope. It'll come back to you. Got a couple here from Mr. Woodles123. Says, what do you get when you cross the Queen with Prince Charles? Murdered in a Paris tunnel. This one I've heard before, but I'll give it a read anyway. I'm sure some of you will enjoy it. How do you circumcise a traveller? You kick his sister in the chin. So one more here. My grandfather told me that my generation relies too much on technology, so I called him a hypocrite and unplugged his life support machine. Oh, that's good. Dark humour. I enjoyed that. Got one here from Swoogie Mint. Why does Michael Jackson never win a race? He likes to come in a little behind. What's an orphan's favourite toy? A boomerang. Unlike its parents, it comes home. That one's middling. Boomerang doesn't really come home, it comes back. We got one from Pineapple07 says, what do you call a cheap circumcision? A rip-off. Ow. And what do you call a group of gay disabled people? Fruit and vegetables. Jesus. Oh, that's filth. Right, we go one more. We don't want to go into this one comes from Karma X Kai. So a couple of guys are texting each other, putting together pickup lines to use on their online dating ventures. One goes, hey, how about, I may be 28, but I still have the body of a 17-year-old. The other responds, you got any proof? And the first man replies, yeah, but I can't be arsed walking to the freezer at the moment. So that's all the jokes from my Reddit. Thanks everybody who submitted them there. So if you want to maybe share a joke or two, hold on, take off my headphones. I don't like doing podcasts with headphones on. I really don't. I'm weird like that. I can hear my voice. I don't need to hear it in my head as well. But yeah, so those are jokes and stuff like that. If you want to submit your own joke, you can go on to Reddit. Again, you have the Reddit page. You can post them on that. There's a topic there. You can go check that out and, you know, build the old Reddit duck army, I suppose. It'll go a long way to that. What else is going on in the world? Oh, they launched the James Webb telescope. Finally. Fucking finally. I know I'm just going to bore the shit out of some of you here now, but I'm a bit of a fucking space nerd, so I am. Love all that stuff. And they finally, after billions and billions of dollars and fucking essentially was a decade, longer than a decade, maybe 2 decades of waiting around and twiddling thumbs, they finally launched the James Webb telescope, and so far so good. I think the last time I checked on it was yesterday. Everything was fine. Nothing had failed. And that's going out to like a huge kind of sun synchronous orbit. Is that what they call it? It's basically on the other side of the Earth, the back side of the Earth. So it's always facing away from the sun because the sun will burn the shit out of it. So yeah, they needed like way out there. And the last I heard of it as well, they were able to keep an extra bit of fuel on board for it as well. So it'll actually last longer than the 10-year kind of lifespan it was originally given. You know, they had spare fuel left. So that's good, yeah. So I'm just kind of fucking fascinated with the amount of shit we're going to learn thanks to this once it fully deploys. Was like 6 months' time, I think it is, before it's fully operational. But when it fully deploys, I'm just fascinated with what it will discover, because this thing is going to be able to look back, was it 13.6 billion years into the past, more or less, like, you know, because of the speed light travels and stuff and the expansion of the universe. But it's going to be able to look that far back, and we're going to have a much clearer photo. I think I read online or heard online somewhere anyway, I don't know how true it is, but it's at least 10 times more powerful than the Hubble telescope, which is just insane. So it's just got a hell of a lot more modern technology in it and stuff like that. So I'm just fucking so psyched to see the kind of mad shit that they come back with, you know, that finds out and stuff, because space fascinates me. I'm not God-fearing man, you know. I don't believe in God or Ganesh or fucking the Quran or any of that kind of stuff like that. For me, it's all fucking fairy tales, and you know, and if I'm to be brutally honest, I find it hilarious that a lot of people believe that shite. But not without getting into the kind of argument of religion. My religion, in a sense, is the fucking universe. There's times where I'm leaving the dog out the back at night. I do it almost every night, where I'm just looking up at the stars in the sky. I'm just like, that's fucking amazing. Because I still get all the existential questions and stuff like that people who are like religious have. Only for I don't pretend to have an answer, you know. But I do look up at the stars in the sky, and I do look at this existence that we all have, and the fact that I'm here right now, and I'm just like, how? And I think, you know, putting that telescope up into space is just one step closer to finding out the ultimate mysteries in life. And that's one thing I get a huge kick out of, is knowledge. I like to know things. The 90% of my Google searches are just random facts that I want to know, and how the intricacies of the universe works and stuff like that. I find that stuff, it blows my fucking mind, how everything works and how complex and fucking weird everything actually is, without slapping a fucking god attached to it or a fucking deity or any other kind of make-believe bullshit. That stuff fucking fascinates me. So I get so excited when we're like get one step closer to having this technology that can fucking show us even more insanely mental shit. Like, do you know, like the eye of Jupiter, the big swirly bit that it looks like a knot on a piece of wood? Do you know that is, just for scale, is about the size of the Earth? Just that one bit. And that's a fucking hurricane, essentially. It's like a fucking storm is what that is. A big fucking bastard. Huge storm that's been raging on it. And I think eventually that'll actually dissipate or go away. It's all this kind of weird shit. But if you just look at the universe, is fucking mental. Like, we're these tiny little people that are on this giant planet, which turns out is not giant at all, because it pales in comparison to the size of other planets, which can pale in comparison to the size of the sun, which pales in comparison to the size of the galaxy, which pales in comparison to the size of the cluster, which pales in comparison to the size of the fucking universe. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. No idea how fucking unbelievably small we are in this existence. So finding out more about it, that's like the thing. I was talking about this. I was actually on a podcast there with TheMagicSkeptic on his channel recently, where we delve a hell of a lot deeper into kind of religion and that stuff. If you enjoyed my little tangent there, there's a much longer version of it over there where we delve into all that. But one of my biggest things I fear in life was death, obviously, I think, but that's a given for most people. But my biggest regrets about death is I know for a fact that I'll be dead before we find out why everything, you know. I know I'll be long dead before we find out that. And that upsets me more than anything, that I'll never know, because, technology is just not moving or advancing at a stage where I could realistically look for that or get that in my lifetime. So that's one of my biggest one of the biggest things that upsets me about my own death is just I'll miss out on finding out why, if we ever do, because it's possible that we may never find out why. We can only look back so far, and how do you look back before everything? We might not be able to, but who knows? But by the time we figure that out, I'll be cold and dusty in the fucking ground. So yeah. Which reminds me, I had a video idea I wanted to do before. And what it was, I don't know if I spoke about this before, but what I wanted to do was do a video titled Things I Hate About Being Dead, right? And I actually make a full video about how shit it is to be dead, just make it hilarious, obviously. And what I'll do is I just set it to schedule release in, 70, 80 years, a good kind of guesstimate when I'll be dead. Set it to release on its own on the channel, so if YouTube is still kicking at that stage, it'd just be fucking hilarious that just Ducky posts a random video long after he's dead. Things I hate about being dead. And I even thought about one of the fucking the climax joke of it would be something along the lines of it turns out the Muslims were right. Allah was actually the right God. As if I was speaking with knowledge from beyond the grave. Oh, I just thought it'd be a hilarious idea, because it would maybe be between 1 and 5 people still left alive that remembers what a Sergeant Ducky is at that stage. So if that just got posted, then 1 to 5 people would have their fucking socks blown off. And I don't know why, but just that idea tickles me so much. But now that I've said it, it wouldn't be a surprise. But then again, they mightn't listen to the podcast, so who knows? I might still do it yet for a fucking laugh. The ultimate beyond the grave troll. Oh god. I wonder will YouTube still be kicking in that time? Probably not. We'll probably be fucking just getting videos streamed directly into our fucking mind. We'll just be autonomous. Could I live long enough that we can just transplant my brain into a fucking robot body so I don't have to deal with getting old and shit? Because I'm getting shit nowadays. When you get shit when you're in your 20s, an ache or a pain, and you're just like, fuck it, it'll be grand in a day or two. And it usually is. I'm getting to the stage now where I'm starting to worry about aches and pains I get, which I shouldn't. I've got this pain in my chest that kind of comes and goes. I'm not even a pain, a 1 out of 10. It's a weird discomfort thing that kind of comes and goes randomly. And I went to my doctor about it, and he said, he's kind of a shit doctor, I won't lie. He just went, fuck it, look, it'll probably be grand. Just give it a while and see if it's still there. Problem is, it's been a while and it's still coming and going. But my doctor is so shit, I don't want to go back to him. And I recently got a letter on the post saying that he's not being a doctor anymore, that he's moving on. And somebody else is going to take his place, but that's not until the end of this month, so I'm holding off until the new doctor comes in and go, hey, can you actually address these problems? Because my doctor's fucking shite. Every time I've gone to my doctor about something, and sometimes it's quite alarming. A few years ago, I had this thing, right? I started getting shortness of breath. And this just went on for ages, but within the first month, I was just kind of short on breath. I couldn't fully catch my breath. It wasn't panting or anything, but I was just really uncomfortable and unnerving, because you need breath to live. So I went to my doctor. What he did was he took blood, and he missed every fucking vein in my arm. I'll actually be talking about that in the vaccine video, but he missed me vein 5 or 6 times and fucking did blood pressure tests and this, that and the other. And he's like, right, I'll give you a shout in a week there and we'll see what your results say and all that. I got a chest x-ray and stuff like that as well. But yeah, so a week's time he came back and he's like, yeah, your x-rays, I had a look at your x-rays there and your blood work and all that. It all seems fine anyway. So yeah. And I'm like, well yeah, I'm still sick though. I'm still unwell. Just because your results didn't show anything doesn't mean I'm okay. I'm not lying about it. Fucking stone useless. And again, his advice back then was just like, oh sure, look, wait and see if it goes away on its own. It did, but it went away after I lost a load of weight. That was right at, I started getting it right at the start of my diet, which would have been around my heaviest, which I wasn't ridiculously heavy. I was 250 pounds, something like that. I wasn't morbidly obese. I was just quite heavy. Yeah, it went away on its own when I started dieting and stuff like that. So it never really bothered me. But yeah, no, he's just a fucking stone useless doctor. And he missed my arm so many times. I'll touch on this in my next video, but to give it even a funnier behind the scenes kind of view, he missed my vein so many times, and I bruise like a Me Too peach, I believe is the joke I use in my next video. But I bruise like nobody's business. You could fucking whisper in my ear, you'll bruise half my face. That's how easily I bruise. He destroyed my arms, both my arms, because he tried the vein on my right arm and then tried the vein on my left before he eventually got it. But my arms were fucking purple, and they were about the size of an apple, these bruises. They were huge. And I was working, and my work uniform was a t-shirt, so I couldn't like fucking hide that. So everybody I was like serving at work at the time, looking at me like I'm a fucking heroin addict. It was ridiculous. I looked like the missus often laughs at how easily I bruise. Because one of the guys I used to work with punched me in the shoulder, just like a friendly punch in the shoulder. Got me good though, gave me a dead arm. And for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I had this just giant purple fucking bruise in my arm. And I'm just like, oh, I've bitch skin. That's what it is. A bitch skin. Oh God. But yeah, so that's my plan. So if I drop of a heart attack in the next month, lads, you'd blame my fucking doctor for being shit. Because I went to him. I told him and he just said, oh, sure, look, wait and see. It's probably your fucking lining of your chest is probably inflamed. And it's like, yeah, is that supposed to last 3 months, you fucker? So yeah, drop dead, blame him. But hopefully my next doctor is somewhat competent. I remember once with that shortness of breath, after I'd gone to my doctor the first time, I got it really bad one night, so I called up as a care doc, which is like a doc on call here in Ireland for those of you who are unfamiliar. And I was told to go down to like the on-call centre because I was driving, so I was able to get to one nearby. And the doctor I got there, fucking sound, lovely fella, like owl lad, and I was skidding away with him, having the laugh like that. And like he gave me like a couple of diagnoses of what he thought it would be. And then he put my mind at ease of what I might have thought it would be, you know, that kind of way. Because I was just like, oh, fucking, it's not my lungs. I'm not getting fucking lung cancer and all that. Because I just recently quit smoking at this stage. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't do it too late or anything. He put my mind at ease. He's like, no, your lungs sound clear. He goes, if your doctor had the x-ray there, it would have shown up on that. So you're grand there. And he's like, what it probably is probably like an overgrowth of bacteria, or it could be GERD, which is like acid reflux and stuff. It really put my mind at ease. Stopped me worrying about it. And if anything, that probably helped with my shortness of breath. Because I think some of it might have been fucking panicked anxiety from just stressing over, oh shit, am I going to die, you know, that kind of a. And my current doctor right now isn't like none of that. He's just kind of like, yeah, sure, we'll wait and see. And I'm just like, this is my fucking life we're playing with, chap. We won't just fucking wait and see in a life. You wait and you see, I don't know, if a press falls down, or if, you know, a social faux pas is about to happen, you don't do that with somebody's fucking life, you cunt. But yeah, I know what doctors are like. I used to work in a hospital, believe it or not. I haven't talked about it much on the channel, but I worked in a shop inside a hospital. It's like this little kind of corner cubicle. We sold coffees and magazines and shit like that to patients and doctors and stuff. But that was a great laugh. I remember there's one of the girls who working there, blondie one, gorgeous girl, gorgeous, slim, tanned, fine looking thing. Like, think of like a 90s heartthrob, you know, that kind of look to her, you know, that kind of way. And I used to find her ridiculously attractive until it was one day I was doing my rounds, which was we'd take a trolley up around the wards and stuff like that just to sell stuff to people that might not be able to get out of bed and stuff, you know, so they're not missing out. But did that and went up and walked into a ward, and she was just there, and she's a physiotherapist, this lady, and she was she had this owl lad by the leg, and she was like stretching out his leg. The owl lad was 80s, 90s even, I don't know, he looked like one sneeze away from just being Thanos snapped out of this fucking world, to be honest. But she was like stretching out his leg, and he was wearing, you know, the fucking hospital gown that's just like a front flap and a back flap with no side flaps. And I walked into the room, and it was like this communal room, there's like 6 or 7 patients in here, and I walked in, and it's just him with his leg out and his testicles just dangling fucking down between his legs like the pendulum on a grandfather clock, just swinging there. And she's just there like absolute professional, ignoring it, just, you know, stretching out his leg and his foot and all that. I was just standing there, I was like, oh. And from that point onwards, I couldn't associate her without thinking about the old man with his big fucking pendulous balls. I couldn't do it. Put me off her. Like, she's still a fine looking girl, and I'm sure if I seen her to this day, I'd still think she was a cracker, but no, that just really put me off her. Oh, dear God. It was a myth. There was one thing actually, it was the advantage of working in a hospital. I remember I got in a debate with somebody because I like to crack my knuckles. Hold on, we'll see if we can get a good one. No, see, I just cracked them recently. Can I do my neck? Oh, that might come true. We'll see. But I like to crack my knuckles and stuff, and one of the girls I was working with found it disgusting, as, you know, some people do. And she's like, you're going to get arthritis. I was like, come on, that's got to be a myth. How does cracking your knuckles give you arthritis? Like, where did it all start? So, seeing as we serve like a load of doctors regularly, I decided to just start asking them as I was serving them, like giving them out their coffee and stuff. It's like, come here to me, just crack your knuckles, give you arthritis. And the vast majority of them said, no, it doesn't. It's old wives' tale, because, you know, as I say, the old wives didn't like the sound of it, and so they wanted to discourage it, so they made up bullshit that it gives you arthritis, so they'll stop people doing it. And then, you know, other doctors said, I don't know. And one doctor just made me laugh my arse off, because I'd asked him and he just goes, I hope not. And then just went, kind of cracked all his knuckles. He goes, because I was doing this for fucking years. And just walked off. Jeez, hospitals were very different places back when I was working them. I remember I was talking to this one doctor, and I'd served him a few times. You know, I've seen him frequently enough. you know, a daily basis. They'd often come in and see, because the shop I was working in the hospital did much nicer coffee than the canteen. So doctors would often just potter down to the shop altogether. But one day I seen him and he was walking along with a drip in his arm, you know, one of those IV drips in his arm. And I was like, geez, you all right? What happened to you? Like, fucking, did you get an accident or something? He was just like, he turns to me and goes, oh no. He was like, I was out in the fucking beer last night. I was dying of a hangover. He's like, and these fucking yolks are ideal for getting rid of it. I was like, you cheeky bastard, just come along there, stuck a drip in his arm there, fucking get rid of his hangover. I was like, that's fucking brilliant. Hats off to the man. You couldn't get away with doing that as a doctor nowadays, could you? You'd be fucking thrown up, you would. Oh, God. You think doctors ever, like, you know, look at weird shit people come in with? You know, people come in and they're like, oh, I have this thing, I have this growth. Do you take a look at it? Do you think doctors ever look at it and go, ugh, like audibly out loud? Would that be bad? I think the weirdest interaction with a doctor I had before was years ago. I thought I had genital warts and I was freaked out because I had these little like bumps on my dick. And it was like on my foreskin. I was like, oh shit, I think I have genital. I was recently after riding a young one for the first time as well. So I was like really panicked. So I eventually drummed up the nerve and I went into the doctor and said, look, I think I have genital warts there. And he's like, shows look. He's an old fashioned doctor. Like, you know, he had no bit of decorum or fucking tact about him at all. But he just decided, all right, shows a look. So I got the Mickey out and I pointed out what I was talking about. And he goes, they're not genital warts. They're just, I don't know what the word he used, but it was like the same thing you have in your nipples, around your nipples. You know, those little bumps where like kind of hairs and stuff grow out of it, and they're just like skin things. I don't know what to describe it. And it turned out everybody has them on their dick somewhere. And nobody told me. I don't have a father figure in my life I can go to ask these questions to. So I had to go to a doctor and find out that I had a perfectly normal dick. It's probably the most weird thing I've ever had to go to a doctor about, to be honest. But yeah, that was fun. Poor little terrified fucking 18-year-old me getting me cock out for a doctor. There you go, doctor, what you make of that? It'd be funnier if I got it out and you just went, Jesus Christ, what a fucking weapon. Oh my God. Do you have a license for that fucking weapon, do you? You want to sheath that, you take someone's eye out. Oh God, I'm talking nonsense, lads. I'm going to wrap this up here. Yeah, thanks everybody for listening, tuning in and enjoying the sound of this beautiful, warm microphone. I hope it's just licking your earlobes. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you want to listen to any other of my podcasts, my last podcast, I was talking with a friend of mine, Dara, had him on the podcast before. Long-time listeners will know and love him. I also was over on his channel recently. He's actually recently posted a video where him and PJ are having an old chin wag there. So if you enjoy a bit of PJ in your lives there as well, I recommend jumping over the Magic Skeptics channel there and have a listen to that as well. Anyway, lads, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. I hope you helped pass the time while you were cleaning, driving, or just, I don't know, having a very, very long, confusing topic to wank. Yes, you need to answer some questions. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you, lads and ladies, in the next one.